Okay, hi everybody. Thank you for logging on to the webinar today. We're going to be going through a few different things just to get started. But first off, let me introduce myself. My name is Adam Dupre. I'm a regional manager here at Anajet. I've been with the company for a little over 4 years now. This particular webinar is going to be on achieving more with the mPower digital apparel printer. Here's basically what we're going to cover. We're going to cover the direct garment industry and its market. We're going to discuss some of the challenges and some of the business advantages that you guys have as business owners. We're going to look at the mPower itself and some of its advantages and some of the technology behind it and what we've done. Then we'll cover the economics of it, how it all makes sense, the cost per print, what you're selling. We'll outline a few customer success stories for Anajet. And at the very end, we'll have a Q&A session. And I want to point out, if you have any good questions, there's a spot down where you can send them to me through the chat. Please save them till the end. Hopefully we can get through all of the questions everybody has. But I'm happy to answer them, make them as tough as you want, no problem. We'll get through them. But let's get started. So why direct-to-garment printing? Well, digital apparel printing is the future of the industry. We're already starting to see it now. We're starting to see a big increase in screen printers that are transitioning to the digital garment world, the more traditional method to a digital world. Now, why? Digital garment printing gives you more options. It gives you more flexibility. There's no longer a limitation on colors or order size. One shirt, 1,000 shirts, one color, 1,000 colors. Your cost is now the same. And with the affordability of the printers, not just from an initial investment, but from a cost per print perspective, it now becomes more and more competitive with the screen printing world, and we're starting to see ourselves take a bigger and bigger chunk out of that. Now, I know I'm highlighting screen printing, and we're actually going to get through a few different industries specific to you, so kind of highlight which slide is your industry, and I'll be able to go through some of the bullet points. But basically, it's an adapt or die mentality. I use this analogy a lot. If I was to compare screen printing to, say, a pager, then direct-to-garment printing is your iPhone. It's the next technologically advanced step. There's also a continuous pricing pressure on all the products and services that are being offered. And having a digital garment printer gives you some competitive edges that I'll cover in a little bit that your competition won't have. Which leads me to the next one, increased competition through web and social media. We're no longer just working within a 20-mile radius of where our business is. That is there. There's great local support and local business from schools and, different restaurants, police departments, et cetera. But you realistically now, with the Internet, have the ability to reach out beyond your immediate surroundings. Screen printing, promotional products, signs, and large format printers. All you guys, like I said before, it's time to move towards the next step. Opportunity that you have to make a little bit of extra money here and there will go a long way. So why should you get into digital shirt printing? Well, currently right now, the garment decoration industry in the United States is a $44 billion industry. Now, that includes embroidery, screen printing, transfers, anything you can imagine that decorates garments. Now, the garment printing segment of that is about half, $23 billion worth. And as of 2007, the garment industry was 99% screen printing and 1% digital direct printing, and we've actually grown exponentially since then. But I think it shows that there's a trend brewing and a massive movement towards garment printing. And just in these last 5 years, we've seen more and more screen printers either bring in a garment printer to complement their business to stay competitive, or even transition completely away from screen printing, and I'll give an example of that later with one of my customers. So out of all the garment printers in the industry, all the ones that are out there, who leads the way? This is our chance to kind of pat ourselves on the back and brag a little bit. So excuse the brevity here, but that first slide on the left, and before I start, I want to point out that this was done by a third-party independent study from a firm called IT Strategies. In fact, if you look at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, there's a website, it-strategies.com. You're welcome to go on and view it. They estimated that 60% of the printers out there in use were Anajets, which is exciting because if you take all of the garment printers out there and combine them, there's still not as many as Anajets out there. And we bring this up just so that you can see Anajet's position in the industry. We're not a fly-by-night company. You know, we have a huge 40,000 square foot building here in Southern California where we manufacture these printers and service them, and we have the largest technical support staff out of any other garment printer manufacturer / distributor out there, servicing only direct-to-garment printers. I can guarantee you from a standpoint of service and support, Anajet will be top-notch, second to none. Now this is in 2010. Now we've come a few years since then, about a year and a half really. And I want to point out that since then, Anajet has experienced double-digit growth year over year. So these numbers we perceive I also use this now. You know, when you go to a restaurant and ask for a Coke, you think of it as just a soda. Can I get a Coke? Well, we want to be that for direct-to-garment printing. Instead of you saying I need to get a direct-to-garment printer, we want everybody to say I need to get an Anajet. That's Anajet's focal point. That's our direction. So here are some challenges. Here are some of the things that our customers have told us, and we do extensive surveys on what our customers are running across, why they're experiencing this, why they're contacting us. Really, let's get to the bottom of why they feel they need a direct-to-garment printer. And for them, it's a production equipment can be a costly investment. Any type of garment decoration can be kind of expensive, especially when you consider that you want to be able to offer quite a bit. Just a 8-station automatic screen printing setup can run you upwards of $100,000, but you know, 40, 50, 60,000 is quite expensive and still has limitations. The new technology, there's a learning curve to it. That's one of the challenges that we hear a lot. Smaller jobs for current customers without garment printing can result in almost no margins. You're not turning away the business because you recognize that you want to keep that consumer coming back, but at the same time, you're maybe making a much, much smaller margin on those small runs that you could then, if you had a garment printer, you could be making a lot more. Our customers always have a continuous need to attract new clients, and I'm going to go into more detail about some of the marketing tactics behind this, but being able to go out there and get new clients and having a sales force, or even just having you yourself have the means to do that, it really kind of shortens what you can offer to your customer because of the limitations that you might have, whether you be outsourcing it or screen printing it yourself. I want to bring up one quick note that a customer told me, and he told me this a couple years back, and I try to tell all my customers that end up purchasing a printer, this is one of the first things that they should do. Go out, print 20 shirts, buy the cheapest light-colored shirts you can imagine, $1.50, $1.75, whatever it might be, put 25 cents worth of ink on it, and print 20 shirts, and make it seasonal. Make it so we're in summer. We just had the 4th of July. We got Memorial Day coming up. Make it, put a big American flag on there. Put your company information and hit on a few bullet points. Hit no minimums, unlimited colors, 24-hour turnaround times, personalization, customization. Put those 4 bullet points and print those 20 shirts with all your contact information and drop it off at every restaurant, bar, police department, fire department, school, any place that you can think of, industrial park, any place that you can think of that would actually buy shirts from you. And the customer brought this up to me. I was like, well, that's a great idea. How much, you pick up a lot? He goes, no. He goes, Adam, you're not getting it. He said, and we were at a trade show. He said, if you hand out, if you hand out 100 business cards, now you'd like to think that every person is going to keep your business card, but the reality is they're small little cards and they fall down the maybe 5 or 10 people end up keeping those 100 business cards. But if you hand out 100 shirts, how many people are going to lose that shirt? You may not get the order right then and there when you hand that shirt out and you give your good sales pitch and you pick up the business, but a month down the road, 2 months down the road, when the guy pulls the shirt out of his dresser drawer or out of his closet, and then he looks back and realizes, oh yeah, the shirt's sitting on my desk, he knows where to go. He says it's the best marketing tool he's ever done. He did it, excuse me. What he did is he did 20 shirts, identified 20 separate businesses, did 20 shirts, and took 1 day a week, 4 hours, went to 20 different companies, dropped off the shirt, gave him a little sales pitch with his brochure and his shirt, and did that for a full 90 days. And in that first 90 days, he made enough, he picked up enough business to pay for his machine. Now, this was an mPower 10, so it was our most costly investment machine. But in that first 90 days, just by doing that one step, he picked up enough business to pay for his machine. That takes us to the continuously need to attract new clients. You have now the ability to use it as a sample. You can print something and put it physically in somebody's hand. Think about a car, anytime you go to buy a car. What's the first thing that car salesman wants you to do? Let's take it for a test drive. Sit you in the car, got your hands on the steering wheel. It's the same kind of idea. It picks up a substantial amount of business. And even at trade shows, first thing that I'll do is make sure the person walks away with a shirt. First thing I've done with probably anybody that's worked with me that's listening in is I've sent you samples. I'm putting the product in your hands. The same idea. You want to do that every time when you're marketing your business. Let's move on to needing a competitive edge, high customer service quotient to lock in repeat buyers and clients. How do you do that? By having a competitive edge, you don't have a minimum. Your competitors do. Unlimited colors. Your competitors have a limit on the amount of colors they can do. Personalization and customization. Imagine if you wanted to have 15 shirts printed for the local volleyball team and put individual names and numbers on each shirt. It's as easy as can be with a garment printer, but a local screen printer or your competitor have a much, much harder time doing that. Now, if you went to that high school and said, I'll do those 15 shirts for you for the same price that my screen printer do, but I'll personalize and customize each shirt, you think you would pick up that business? Next one, lead times and ship times to prevent a fast fulfillment. Why bother? It's for all your promotional products people out there. I'm sure you guys have been in this kind of pinch. You have a customer that just needs those shirts in 3 days, and when you're outsourcing it to somebody, they can't tell you, I can't do it for another week. So you go to your next guy, your next guy, your next guy. And as you go down the list, you know that the person that you're contacting gives you poorer and poorer quality on the garment. Imagine doing it yourself, not only having it done and fast, but you making a bigger portion of the profits. So a solution, which is a lot what I just covered in that previous slide. The Anajet garment printer, whether it's the Sprint mPower 5 or mPower 10, gives you a durable, high-volume digital apparel printer. It's easy to learn for multiple product lines, not just garments or T-shirts rather, but sweatshirts, really any type of fabric. It even does some canvas prints, some other things that I'll get into later. Predictable profit margins of up to 75%. It's absolutely realistic, depending on whether it's retail or wholesale, even more possibly. You know, best case scenario, you print a shirt, it costs you $2.50 to make, ink and shirt, minute of your time, and you sell it for $25. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you do a 250 shirt order, you charge $8 a shirt, and each shirt costs you $2.50 to make. You're still making $5.50 for that shirt per shirt. Those type of margins are not normal, but yet they are with garment printing, especially in this market. You can attract all types of new businesses with samples, put their logos and campaign images onto a shirt. Exactly, I just mentioned that before, probably one of the most effective ways to not only get your first couple orders going, but to legitimately, you know, let's make you enough profit in your first 90 days to pay for the machine. You know how to do that? Do that, the idea that I just told you. Narrow zero turnaround time and personalization. Now that personalization with the volleyball team that I told you about earlier, great example of what you can do to offer your customers a little bit more of competitiveness on your end. But imagine, telling a person that comes in that wants 100 shirts, you say, okay, well, normally this is a week turnaround time, but if you pay $50 more, I can have them for you tomorrow. You just made a little bit more per shirt and increase your profit margin. And really, what did it take you to print 100 shirts? Not that long, especially if you're on the mPower 10. You can eliminate lead times, ship times, and middlemen from the equation. Again, all your promotional products people out there, just eliminate all that stuff. Stop dealing with it. Stop being the broker. Do it yourself. This is not this crazy 8-station automatic, 4-station manual press, whatever that you have in your shop that takes up a huge amount of space anymore. This is not a 3-year apprenticeship in screen printing just to get good at what you're doing and to be able to duplicate the results that your customers are looking for. This is a digital printer. You put the shirt down, the printer does the work. So let's go by industry. For all you digital printing people right now, whether it's offset signs, anybody that's using a wide format, what's the similarities? Garment printing, wide format printing, any digital printing, very similar maintenance needs. The technology is, although subtly different in a few ways, you get the gist of it. So automatically you have a leg up. Your ramp-up time on these printers will be drastically less than a guy that's never used a printer before. You also have similar software, so you increase your faster learning curve. You understand the concept behind RIPs and digital files. You already have all the digital files. Imagine going to each one of your customers that you're currently doing a sign or whatever it might be for and offering them, hey, by the way, here's a free shirt. Costs you $2 to make, right? Here's a free shirt just so you know I can do this too. Pick up business that way. Market expectations for demand for a faster turnaround time. You can now be a one-stop shop and avoid outsourcing whenever possible. I find that the most successful people out there with their businesses, especially in the digital sign world, is they never turn away business, even if it means they have to outsource it to somebody else. Well, if you're not turning away that business, why don't you bring in something that can accomplish the goals that your customers are asking for? And do it yourself, but make a much, much bigger margin on it. High customization and personalization. And the difference in the end, bottom line, is fatter margins, a bigger cut of the end result. Not just on small runs, large runs too. Give yourself an opportunity to increase the amount of revenue flowing through your business, all for a small investment and a very, very small learning curve, especially for you sign guys. Screen printing. Anybody on here that's been screen printing? You guys know, I've already talked about it a little bit. But right now, the market expectations are for mass personalization and market of one. Think about who your competitors are, not just locally. The Cafe Press, Zazzle. Now look, if you're a screen printer and you do 10,000 shirts a month and you have huge accounts with, Rip Curl or Billabong or whoever, sorry, that's California in me, whatever T-shirt company that you're working with and they give you thousands and thousands of shirt orders, hey, that's great. Keep that business. But don't pigeonhole yourself. Don't rely on a few different customers to keep you going throughout the year. Can't tell you how many customers call me up and say, well, I have 2 or 3 accounts that are my main source of revenue. Well, that's great, and I'm glad you have those accounts, but God forbid one of those accounts goes away. Then you're a third down in your revenue. Give yourself a wider variety of people that you can touch, not just locally, but on the internet, like I was saying. Cafe Press and Zazzle are great examples of this. They market the heck out of themselves. They base here in California and then I believe in Colorado. What they do is they touch everywhere, all over the nation. And we can actually help you set up a website where you can have your customers order on demand 1 shirt at a time, 15 shirts at a time, whatever the case might be. You have to diversify what you can offer. Also, customers are demanding faster turnaround time. You know just as well as I do. Getting your screens prepped, registering, getting your graphics prepped. That's one of the biggest ones that I hear. I'm tired of dealing with the graphics side of things, especially when there's multiple colors and you have to layer the image. Well, that's all gone now with digital printing. You don't need a layered image to print a shirt. You can take a compressed image. You can take a JPEG off the internet and print it. It's a printer. File print. Customization and personalization. You just lost out to the person that said they'll do those 15 volleyball T-shirts and personalize each name and number on that pocket. You just lost that because you don't have that capability. Sure, you could go maybe the transfer route, which would cost more, or do a vinyl cut or something along those lines, again, which would cost more, but the quality wouldn't be as good and would cost you more to do. Now, the benefit that you guys have is you have a really fast learning curve when it comes to ink and garments. You get that side of it. Wide format guys, they get the digital printing side of it, but you guys you understand that the quality of garment makes a difference and the quality of the ink makes a difference. And you understand the curing process, and it gives you a good competitive edge in that regard. You also have contacts already for low-cost quantity and high-quantity T-shirts. You already know what your current customer base is expecting, and you probably know what you're currently missing out on. The differences will be say yes to every short run. 1, 10, 50 shirts, no problem. Enable full-color digital prints at high volumes, without question. If you have a guy and he wants 500 shirts, are you going to run from that order? Digital garment printer, you don't have to. With our mPower series, the MP5 and MP10, you could do that job no problem. Print out comps on demand for larger screen printing runs. Greatest idea I heard from a guy in Ohio. He told me what he did with his initial garment printer is he gave samples to all his sales guys. He sent them out, and it was just using it mostly for samples. Yeah, he did his small runs and his medium-sized runs on it, but he picked up orders for 10,000, 15,000 shirts just by having a sample of the sales tool. All right, some parallels to embroidery for all you embroidery people out there. You have similar market expectations to screen printing. You'll have a fast learning curve because you know how to modify customer graphics if they need to be modified. I'm sure you're all very familiar with Corel Draw and vector art. I always find that customers that have embroidery equipment tend to pick up digital printing a lot faster than others. And the reason why is, and I'm sure you guys might chuckle at this under your breath, but we all know it. Embroidery is difficult. Getting everything to line up just right is not easy, and it takes a while. And if you can master an embroidery machine, you can master a digital printer. I can tell you that unequivocally. Some differences for you. You'll have a higher profit per hour. Print a sample on demand, faster than a sew-out, no backing, no hooping, no assigning threads, no cutting, trimming, etc. One operator versus 2 or 3 for some of you bigger embroiderers out there. But most importantly, let's look at it from just a time perspective. How long does it take you to embroider a hat, or embroider a sweater, or a jacket, or a polo? How long? I mean, look at how long it takes you from start to finish to get all that stuff done. Would your customer want a digitally printed part of that? Or do you have customers that have asked you, hey, do you do shirt printing as well, not just embroidery? Are you giving yourself every opportunity to succeed? We also have a lot of embroiderers that are in a smaller business environment. Maybe they're working out of their house, their garage, or just a small little warehouse. Can't afford to have this huge piece of equipment to do their screen printing needs, so they outsource it. But digital printers are great for that. Sprint's 3 by 3 feet, and the mPower's 4 feet by 4 feet. Doesn't take up a lot of space. Promotional products. My favorite. My favorite people are promotional products people because they're salespeople. They're go-getters. They know how to get it done. And promotional products people are on the garment side of things because it's expensive and costly to have a screen printing setup and do it yourself. So you became a broker, so to speak, in between your screen printer and your customer. Fantastic idea. Fantastic idea. You're picking up a good amount of margin. You don't have to do the work. You don't have to cover the cost of the space that you're having in. You don't have to reclaim the screens. You don't have to do anything. Fantastic idea. With the advent of digital garment printing, though, you now have the ability to do it yourself and have it be much, much easier than anything that was actually screen printed. And the beauty of it is you already have the customer base. You are salespeople. You know that you got to reach out and touch everybody. So you can bring in that business just by using some of the competitive advantages that I was talking about before. And not only bring that in, but be able to supply your customer with that product and make a bigger cut on it. Instead of saying, okay, well, normally I make 34, 35% on each order that I do and marketing up as such, why not make 60, 70%? But you guys really are my favorites because every time I talk to a promotional products person, they're salespeople, and I love that. You guys already have a knack for it. But you'll have similar expectations for speed, customization, personalization. You know what it takes. Cut those turnaround times down. Tell your customer, it's going to be a week, but if you pay $100 more for this 100-shirt order, I'll have it for you tomorrow. They may not say yes, but if they do, you just made an extra $100. It didn't cost you anything other than a couple hours printing the shirts, which you were going to do anyway. Customer demand for greater variety in products, colors, and designs, absolutely. There's not just the one color shirt, the 3-color shirt. Some people want photo shirts. Some people want really elaborate graphics that have shades and transparencies and gradients. You can now get that for. And then obviously the third point, which I touched on, you already know how to sell. So for you, the main differences are avoid lead times and middlemen. Create samples on demand. You have much greater margins, go from a 25, 35% up to 75%. Work smarter, not harder. Which leads us now to the mPower, our baby. Just a quick background on Anajet. Anajet's been around since 2006. We launched our first printer, the FT125. It was a great printer. Especially in that time, it was a very a good printer for the technology of the day. Shortly thereafter, we came out with the Anajet Sprint, which is still the #1 selling garment printer in the industry. It's a fantastic printer. There are more Anajet Sprints in the field than any other garment printer made. But that is slowly going to be caught up to by the Anajet mPower, which we launched back in October of last year. And we've had a tremendous amount of success with it. It is the fastest direct-to-garment printer in the industry. The mPower 10 can print a shirt in, well, I'll get to that point. You can have a very rapid return on investment using the techniques that I told you before. Let's push to pay the machine off within the first 90 days of owning it. With Anajet, you also get first-class technical support and training. Not only is it first class, but it's free lifetime technical support, free lifetime software upgrades, free lifetime firmware upgrades, and free training. You have endless possibilities with extended media, foil 3D art, and more. I'll show you that in a little bit. And made and supported all here in the U.S. The only garment printer that can say that. We're located here in beautiful Southern California, which we've been having great weather. So if you guys want to come to one of our trainings out here, you're welcome to. It's been awesome. It's been a couple days. So for you, some of the business advantages, easy to learn and use. We get a lot of startups. You have a minimal footprint in your office, garage, shop, or van. Keep in mind that mPower is only 4 feet by 4 feet. It's not going to be this 4-station manual press that takes up a 15 by 15 foot room. You have a head start if you have a customer base with their graphics and logos already stored. Differentiate your business. Sample shirts with every order. $3 cost for a lead, maybe even less. We went through that. And then, like I said, as little as 90 days to pay off for our customers. Yeah, again, we do a lot of surveys, and it's absolutely possible. You follow the roadmap we lay out for you, and there's no doubt in my mind that you'll have it paid off within the first 90 days. So the mPower specifically has a few technology advantages versus our competitors, and I want to point those out real quickly because I think it's really important to understand the differences between printers out there. The first thing I want to go over, there's two kinds of printers out there. There are printers that are based off an Epson platform that are basically paper printers that have been modified to print on garments. And then there are printers that were built from the ground up to print on garments. Traditionally, the printers that were built from the ground up to print on garments are much better. Easier to operate, faster, less maintenance, much easier overall. What we've done with our Antigen mPower, which is a printer that was built from the ground up to print on garments, is we've put a closed-loop circulating ink delivery system. And it sounds fancy, but realistically, this is basically what it means. Our closed-loop system is a fancy way of saying is that everything is sealed. Cartridges, the inner workings of the machine, there's even seals around the tip of the print head. The circulating part of the system is that every hour when the printer's not in use, individual pumps are engaged to circulate the ink throughout the printer. Now, why is this important? Inside the ink, there's a substance called titanium dioxide. Okay, it's actually what makes the ink its color, the white, the pigment. In fact, look around your office or wherever you are right now, and anything that you see white most likely has titanium dioxide in it. But one of the downfalls of titanium dioxide is as soon as it comes in contact with air, it starts to dry. The best way I've been able to describe it is if you've ever had a bucket of paint that you let the top off of, and you get that film right on top of it, that's the titanium dioxide, and it's causing that the thickening and hardening, which is why we seal the entire system. We don't let any air it sinks in the lines. When it's left sitting, a lot of people that have older garment printers had this problem. Literally, the ink starts to separate. It settles down in the lines. And the only way to fix that with other garment printers is to run it and to push ink through the printer and not give it a chance to settle. And what we've done, we've installed those pumps in each individual line. So even when you're not using the printer, those pumps are engaged and it circulates the ink inside the printer, not out of the printer, but throughout the printer. Okay? It keeps the titanium dioxide from settling and keeps it the consistency that we want so that we can have smooth, even, white ink flow at all times. Now, this is a huge, huge technology advancement on Antigen's part. Just keeping this circulation system going has, I mean, talk about drastically reduced any type of maintenance issues that our customers may have had in the past with some of our older models like the FP125. One of those things that just makes it that much easier to operate. So we use a 220 milliliter ink cartridge system. So it's 220 milliliter of ink. There's CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, and then 2 white ink cartridges. The closed loop circulating, like I said, helps reduce the white ink settling and no air contamination. So all of that means for you better ink flow results. It means less head cleaning, which for you means greater ink economy. Having a good circulated ink system. Less maintenance means easier maintenance, as little as 5 minutes a day. And really, it's really more based off your usage than anything else. Less downtimes means lower usage costs. Less time you have the printer not operational means the less time that you have lost business. You also have full control of ink flow volume and full ink saturation in a single print pass, which is why the AnaJet mPower is the fastest garment printer out there. Because within one pass with our print heads, we can put enough ink down onto the shirt to completely saturate it. So how do you make the perfect shirt? How do you get the best print longevity? Print will last the life of the garment. It has excellent sunlight resistance, and it's very comparable to screen printed shirts. You can tell your customers to wash in cold for added longevity, but the key to it all is this. Cure your shirt correctly. Whether you're using a tunnel dryer, a heat press, whatever it might be, make sure you're hitting the temperature and the time for that amount. If you do that, you'll have no problem. Just to give you an example, we say that you should cure a light colored shirt at 356 for 35 seconds. I've told my customers, pop it up to 360 and go for 40. Make sure that you're hitting that temperature, and make sure you're hitting that time. Add an extra 5 seconds, no big deal, and you'll make sure 100% of the time that the shirt that you have coming off is going to last in the wash just as for the life of the garment. So we have two mPowers. We have the mPower 10 and the mPower 5, and if you were to put them right next to each other, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. They look exactly the same. They have the same platen size. They have the same dimensions. The only difference is that inside there's basically less print heads in the 5 versus the 10, and less pumps and less lines and less all firmware all stuff. But typical print times on an mPower 10 for a light colored garment is 16 seconds. You see that little asterisk there? That asterisk was, read down the bottom, it says, mPower MP10 speeds based off an SGIA digital equipment evaluation in January of 2012. You can visit SGIA and get full access to the DEE reports, and I really encourage you to look at them because there's some other of our competitors out there, and you can really get an apples-to-apples comparison, and I think once you do, you'll see the true, how far ahead we are from our competition. But I put that out there just so that you know that this isn't just arbitrary numbers that we've thrown out. This is what SGIA did, completely third party. But a white shirt about 16 seconds, dark shirt about 48 seconds. MP5 double those times. That's 3 print heads versus the MP10 having 6. So you did double those times. Maximum output 10 hours per day based off a 5-day work week. On a per day basis, you could get 500 to 1,000 on the 10, 250 to 500 on the 5. On a per month, up to 20. Per year, up to 200. And as you can see on the 5 as well. And I find this chart is really beneficial for all customers that are figuring out, hey, which is the right printer for me? What am I realistically going to be running on the printer each day? And if you have, find it where you fit. Are you an MP5? Are you an MP10? So the business case, cost of ownership. A fully loaded cost of a printed white shirt, $2.50 to $3. Varies according to blank type, graphic size. Again, we're being very, very conservative. In fact, this came directly from a customer of ours at Creative Promotions. A typical light shirt is about 25 cents worth of ink, and our RIP software, every time you hit print on it, it'll tell you exactly how much that image costs. So you'll know exactly how to charge for it. Average retail price of $15 to $18 and up. It means a gross profit of $12 per shirt conservatively from a retail perspective. Could even get that on a wholesale side if you were doing a 10-shirt order at $15 a shirt. You could have that, no problem. Printer payoff on the MP5, 2,200 shirts, MP10, 3,200 shirts. Production capacity. Keys to success, volume, and efficient production, without question. You go through and do that 20 companies every week. businesses, schools, whatever it might be. Do that for 90 days. I'll bet you can pay it off. I'll bet you anything. You'll have the shirt. Not only will you have the complete printer paid off, but everything after that will be pure profit to you. So here's our RIP software, which is brand new and just was developed for the Anajet. Fantastic software. It gives you drag and drop media into application. You can automatically remove background colors in the software. So if you have a color, say you're printing on a black shirt, you have black in the image. There's no point in printing black ink on a black shirt, so click the button, remove the black out of the shirt, or out of the image, and use the shirt to fill that black portion of it. There's also the new ink cost calculator that I told you about. So every time you hit print, it'll tell you exactly how much it costs. You also have advanced art customization, and what we mean by that is we put on there little slide bars that are RGB, CMYK, red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, and even one for grays. And what that gives you the ability to do is we have this feature called True View, which is specific to Anajet and is patented by us. But it gives you the truest representation to what you'll see when it's printed out. If you adjust your white ink settings, you'll get a different look. And if you want to lower your white ink settings, you can actually increase different colors that are put on top of it to get the desired look that you're going for and give you your true view, so you have exactly what you see is what you get. It's really kind of cool to see how it all works. There's unlimited updates, software and firmware-wise. We give them to you for free. There's an LCD preview on the printer. There's a little, call it a little 4x8 little box that shows you what you're printing, and that picture right under the turtle there is what I'm talking about. It shows you what you're printing, what your jobs is. There's an 8 gigs worth of memory on there, so you can store all your jobs directly onto the printer. You don't even actually have to have a computer hooked up to it. You can have all your jobs on an external hard drive. You can plug right into the printer. It has network capabilities. It truly is the cutting edge of technology. Enhanced preview screen, and then again, all languages are recognized. We have distributors in, I think there's 40, 50 countries out there. Extended media, beyond garments. This is some of the stuff. It's kind of nice. We have an applications manager here. His name is Paul Green. If any of you have looked into us, you've probably seen some articles and stuff written by us. And we have a couple other guys that are just really good RT people. And they have a knack for figuring out new things to give to our customers to offer, basically widen what you can give to your customers. We've done metal, glass, wood, metal foil applications, adding a metallic look to the print, even 3D printing, printing on canvas. These are all things that we've come up with here, show you how to do at with your business, just so that you can offer more. Print on a mouse pad, print on a beer koozie. Give yourself a little bit more than what you can offer. And for all you promotional products people out there, you're probably doing this already. Do some of it on your printer. All right, so here's the 3-year growth potential. Now this is from, again, SGIA surveys and statistics back in 2010. This was the garment decoration trends dovetail with digital printers. They outlined the top items for garment decoration in 2010, and then report it as steady growing markets within the next 3 years. Now, highlighted there is T-shirts as the #1. That's kind of self-explanatory. I guess we all got that. Point out that everything that you see there on that, pennants, rain gear, scarves, ties, sleepwear, swimwear, uniforms, work uniforms, aprons, athletic blankets, bags, bandanas, some caps, children's wear, infant wear, jackets, patches, all of that stuff can be printed on garment printing. So you're not pigeonholing yourself. You have all those different items that you can touch on. Now, remember when I was telling you about contact those 20 different businesses? Here's your list. You can print this out. Your garment decoration customers mirror digital printer customers. Absolutely. These are the places you need to hit. And again, this is from SGIA, and they see this as growing markets within the next 3 years. Every retail store, interior designer, corporate branding, government, ad agency, manufacturing, nonprofit, athletic teams, schools, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These are who you go to. When you get your printer, print out 20 shirts and go to every school within a 10-mile radius. Go to every nonprofit in a 10-mile radius. Go to every government building within a 10-mile radius. Go to every retail store with a 10-mile radius. I mean, you're catching on a theme here. You do this and give them a free shirt. You'll pick up enough business, I'll bet, in the first 90 days you pay for your machine. Now here's some customer testimonials. This is Jason Bryan. He's one of our customers here. He works at his business is IHS Printing. He has 4 Anajet printers in his shop. In fact, if you want to check out his blog, well, our blog, you can click on that hyperlink and it will take you to a section where Jason has a little video that explains what he does, but also a brief recap of his success. But we pulled this out. He goes, the MP10 has improved productivity tenfold, so much that we had to buy more heat presses just to keep up with it. Down at the bottom, you can also see there's more success stories on blogs at anajet.com/mPower/learn. Here's Henry Landau, who's a great guy. I had the pleasure of spending a little bit of time with him in Salt Lake City. Gosh, it was a couple months back. He's got and we have a video of, with his business too, but he grows sales $250,000 in 17 months, gross sales. Last month in November, we generated $13,000 worth of product on this printer, and we've documented over $250,000 worth of sales. It took us approximately 5 months to achieve ROI. We feel so strongly about this machine that we say it prints money. We really feel that Anajet has a stake in our business, and you couldn't pay us to replace this machine. Position for his particular business. He's directly across the street from Princeton in New Jersey, Princeton College. University, rather. And he has the rights to do all of Princeton's clothing, and he does it, and he works it, and he customizes stuff for everybody in that college. And if you're near a college or have an in at a college, I would recommend you do the same thing. Hit all those intramural sports, hit all the fraternities, the sororities. It's a great avenue and a great way for you to pick up some extra business. Here's Creative Promotions. They have actually, he had a FD125 and I believe an mPower 5. We finished our full production on the MP5. We ran 250 of the attached graphics in 5 hours, the one that you see there. We had a 0% fallout rate. So the ink cost him 19 cents. 0% fallout rate. That's the highlighted. That should be in bold, meaning that he printed 250 straight shirts without having one that wasn't desirable or acceptable for the customer. So $1.45 for each shirt, 19 cents in ink at $10 per hour. He has a 20 cents in labor per shirt, so a total cost of $1.84 per shirt with a resale of $13 gives him a profit of $11.16 per shirt times 250 shirts is $2,790 in profit over 5 hours. $2,790 in profit over 5 hours. I'm not a math major by any means, but that's a significant amount of money per hour. If I did that 5 days a week with the 260 weekdays in a year, it would generate $725,000 in profit. We are printing so fast we need to bring in another heat press. Obviously, that's not, I mean, it'd be great if you made $725,000 in profit in a year, but I think it shows the potential and the revenue that can be generated. And the fact is that now you have a garment printer that isn't pigeonholed to 100 shirts or less. 200 shirts, 300 shirts, 400 shirts, 500 shirts, heck, even 1,000 shirts with the MP10. Do it. You can now do that. The printers have gotten there. For all those people that were waiting, it's here. Here's Eastern Shore Signs. Andy, great customer. He's actually my personal customer. I love this guy to death. He's been in the printing industry since 1989. He's in Cape Charles. It has only a population of 1,200, and he's a one-man shop. He was one of the sign industries routing vinyl cutters. He bought his mPower 5. Overnight, the Anajet printer caused a 35% increase in all business, because not only did he continue with his current business, but he offered it to all his current customer base, and any new customers that came in that wanted shirts, he also offered what the sign side of things. So he's a one-stop shop. He's printed 3,500 garments since March of 2012. And in June, he had $21,000 in total sales. The opportunity is there, but he works at it. Again, remember, the mPower is a tool. We can help you do it, but Andy works at it. You guys work at it too, and you can do the same thing. So one of the last little tidbits, and then we'll get to the Q&A. We have an alliance with Inksoft. Inksoft developed a website specifically for Anajet customers. It's a value of about $1,000. And basically what it does is it's a T-shirt design suite and order management. You can create up to 4 customized websites for your various customers, enable them to design and order products on your website, and basically they can upload their own graphics, design their own shirts, send it to you, print it, send it back to them. Or they can pick from graphics that you already have up there, or you can have access to a database full of thousands of different pieces of clip art. It's basically an online ordering site on the level of anybody who's ever been to the Cafe Press Zazzle, Colorado Timberline type website that's out there. Now you have the same thing. Give yourself that competitive edge. If you need more information on it, you can check us out at mPower Business in a Box package, or you can contact me and I'll give you all the info you need. My contact information will be at the very bottom. But this is something that we give to free to all of our customers and has a value of $1,000. So let's get to some questions and answers. Before we do, I do want to point out one quick thing. This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, we're going to be going through to our NBM Long Beach show. It's Anajet's home show. It's really exciting. We got our big booth out there. We're going to have tons of printers, and if you're in the area and you're planning on going, can't wait to see you. Come up, say hi to me, let me know that I absolutely did horrible on this webinar, all that good stuff. But come and check us out. It's going to be really exciting. If you do come to the show, are going to be offering a very, very, very aggressive show price on the printer. And just so that you're aware, the mPower 10 is $37,950. The mPower 5 is $26,950. But at the show, we're going to really make it worth your while. Now, for all you people that aren't going to go to the show, we are going to have a variation of it, of that show price. And that show price is going to run through the end of next week. So not this Friday, but next Friday it's going to run. And it's going to be very, very aggressive. And I can tell you right now, out of the 4+ years that I've been working here, and ever since we launched the mPower back in October, we have not had a more aggressive special out there. We are really going to hit it hard for this show. And we anticipate on having a record month here at Anajet. But let's go to Q&As. How long does the printing in the shirt usually last? Like I was mentioned in the slide before, you can get the lifetime out of the shirt. Just make sure you cure it correctly. George asks, is it possible to have some T-shirt examples? Absolutely. You can contact me directly or your regional manager, and they can get you some samples so you can take a look at it. Vanessa asks, can you send me some examples of the foil? Sure, no problem. Contact your RM or myself, and they can get you the a foil sample. George asks if the software for the AnaRip is working on Mac. Right now, it's only PC. So if you have a Mac, you got to run Boot Camp Parallel so that you can open up the RIP on your Mac. Any of your graphic design, Photoshop, Illustrator, still do that on your Mac, but when you go to print, open up Boot Camp Parallel so that you can do it. But don't be surprised if we have a Mac solution very soon. Joe says he's impressed. Thanks. Leon, how much are the heat presses? Leon, that's a good question. There's a couple different models that are out there, and a really good one usually ranges at about $1,000. So we find that that's one that's going to last you. But contact your regional manager, whoever your contact is, or myself, because part of the promotion that we're having that you're going to get. And I don't want to, I can't go into detail, but just contact your RM. We'll set you up. Trust me, you'll be happy. How can you print on rain gear with the waterproofing? Sherry, good question. Sherry, good, really, really good. I wonder if you print on rain gear. And Sherry, if you'd like, shoot me an email, and I can kind of show you. There's actually a primer that is applied to printing before you print, and then there's a coating that you put on after to set it. And we can show you how to do it. Robert asked, can we print over seams? Absolutely, no problem. Remember, the printhead doesn't actually touch the fabric, so it just hovers right above it. So print over seams, print over collars, print anywhere on the shirt, doesn't matter. We have a question about hardware warranty. It's a 1-year warranty, but keep in mind you have that free lifetime technical support, free lifetime software upgrades, and free firmware upgrades, lifetime. Extended warranty price is up to, depending on the printer that you get. So contact your person near your arm, and he'll be able to break that down for you so that you know exactly what it is, but it's minimal. Robert asked, what's the largest print area? It's 18 by 14, 18 inches by 14 inches. Although I will tell you, if you have any aspirations to print all over the shirt, you can do that. In fact, we're going to have a tutorial on how to do that coming up here in the next couple of, be very similar to this, coming up here in the next month or so. Joe asked, can you print on sweatshirts? Absolutely, no problem. Keep in mind the mPower has a 3-inch clearance, so you can print on substrates as thick as 3 inches. All you do is put the garment down onto the platen, you hit a little button that says height, it automatically adjusts the height to the perfect level, and you're off and printing. Everything on this printer is automated. There's no manual crank or anything like that. This thing is commercially grade industrial. John asked, my friend, okay, I'm going to read through this. My friend is at a trade show in Vegas right now and saw all the DTG printers. He said the MP10 was huge and expensive. He said Epson just came out with a DT printer and they are slower, but the quality was the best. And they are only $4,000. That means you can buy 9 of these compared to 1 MP10. All right. Let me put it to you this way. The mPower 10 is $37,000. Okay, the mPower 5 is $26,000. That's right in the competitive ranges with the top-selling direct-to-garment printers out there. In fact, our closest competitor, Kornit, has $60,000 machines. But there's a reason for it. And it goes back to what I was saying before. You want to replace components in your printer and spend thousands of dollars every year just keeping your printer operational and ink and keeping it moving, replacing the print heads. Spend $4,000 and do that over the course of 5 years. I guarantee you get up to our price. You buy a garment printer like Anajet or a purpose-built machine, you're going to have a printer that is a commercial industrial grade printer. It's going to be faster, it's going to have less ink waste, and it's going to last you much, much longer. We're talking about stainless steel components, not plastic components. If you want to go out there and you want to buy a printer for $4,000 and beat your head against the wall with it, go right ahead. Do it. If that's what your budget is, go for it. I wish you nothing but success. But if you want a reliable industrial-grade commercial printer, it's not going to break down on you every 2 days, and it's not going to waste hundreds of dollars of ink just keeping it going, then you buy a purpose-built machine. There's a reason why it's $4,000. From us, we have an online store. Go ahead and check it out. Or you can call up. We have a sales rep here that will help you. If you were to buy the printer, what are the financing options you may have? We can absolutely put you in contact with the right people. They have all different terms, payments, interest rates, etc. It's up to you on what you want to do. You might want to try your own bank, but we have all the contacts, so reach out to your RM or your contact here, and they'll be able to take care of it. Robert asked, are the print heads in the mPower made by Ricoh? Yeah, they are, Robert. They're made by they're Ricoh. They're called the Ricoh Gen 4 print heads. They're the latest in technology from a printhead standpoint industry-wide. In fact, not to get too technical, but they have the fastest firing frequency out of any other printhead currently made in its class. So basically what that means is it can push out more ink faster than any other printhead out there in its class, which would include every other printhead in the industry, in the garment printing industry, which is why we have the fastest printer. They also have stainless steel nozzles, so you can apply a lot more pressure through those nozzles. A lot of the Epson machines, and the reasons why you have to replace printheads is you have this corrosive ink with the titanium dioxide being shot through plastic nozzles and plastic nozzle plates. Well, you can only push so much pressure through those before you blow the nozzle plate and have to replace the printhead in its whole. Whereas with the Ricoh Gen 4 printheads, they're stainless steel, so you can push a significant amount of more pressure through that. So even hypothetically, say you didn't have the printer on and you were in a snowstorm and there was no power going to the printer, and you didn't have any luck with it for a full week, you could do some of the cleanings that call it a printhead clean 3. It's just you click a button, and it could push enough pressure to unclog the nozzles. That's really kind of the printhead is a really well made by Ricoh. I was very, very impressed. Apply back with my signature, and I have a bunch of printers. In fact, there's one that's titled mPower Production, and it shows how many shirts that we printed in 20 minutes with the mPower 10. It's pretty awesome. John asked, can you print on leather? John, you know, I've printed on leather, but it's got to be raw. When it's treated with that water resistant, it runs into issues kind of similar to the raincoat, and it became I said it's got to be right. It doesn't have to be, but it's better if it is. You can still do it with that water resistant coating, but you got to put a primer down on it, and it can get kind of cumbersome. Craig, can you print on suede and leather? Okay, actually, it's just answered. Yeah, you can, but just make sure it's raw, because you don't want to have any water-resistant coating on it. If you do, you can still do it. It's just it becomes a little bit of a process. Faye, can you do yard signs? You know, Faye, there's other ways to do yard signs that are way more cost-effective. I mean, I suppose you could do it, but it's really not meant for it. It's really meant for garments. Any recommended T-shirts for the mPower? Yeah, you know what? Email me, and I'll reply back. We have about 10 or 11 vendors that we use pretty exclusively that we're really happy with. I can send you their contact information. Robert, you probably Robert mentioned that also Epson inks are more expensive and have less yields. That's true. He was probably referring to what I was discussing about the Epson printers earlier. Thanks, Robert. John says, thanks for not blocking my question. No problem, man. I have no problem answering any question. That's all right. Stephen asks, is the machine easily portable? I believe it's advertised as 180 pounds. Is it truly designed to move? You know, Stephen, yeah, you can move it. I mean, we take them to trade shows. Just be careful with it. It's not a big deal if it ends up being moved. No, you know, everything's structurally reinforced. But if you're going to be traveling with the printer quite a bit, it may be a better idea to go with the Anajet Sprint. It's only 82 pounds, and that one is designed to be picked up and moved around, and one person can do it, whereas with the mPower, you really need 2 people. Yeah, so you'll be able to access these slides after the event. In fact, it'll be in our webinar section. Scott asked, can you use third-party ink? Scott, this thing's being recorded, so I'm going to tell you no. Robert says he works for Ricoh. Oh, cool. Sherry, you haven't talked about pre-treatment of dark shirts. Can you go over the cost, time, commitments to that? Yeah, Sherry, in fact, if you'd like, you can shoot me an email, and I'll break down the pre-treatment process, even send you some videos. Basically, pre-treatment is a primer for paint. Think about when you're painting a wall in your house or in the outside of your house. You put a primer down, and then you put the paint on, makes it nice and vibrant, holds better, looks better, lasts longer. Same kind of thing with the pre-treatment with white ink. It's basically a primer, and it's applied. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You could apply it with a Wagner spray gun, which seems to be the most common way, and it's pretty easy. There's a little learning curve. I'd recommend you take 5, 10 shirts and really play with it to get it down right. There's also pre-treatment machines, which are a good route, although they're a little bit more expensive to get in there, get involved in. There's ones that are $3,000, $4,000, up to $6,000, but very cool, cool things. And maybe only really for high production, I would get one of those. And then last but not least, there's already been a few companies that have jumped in on offering pre-treated shirts, and a couple companies that have approached us and said, hey, if we offered it, would you buy it from us? So I would imagine that that's going to be around the corner. And the nice part about that is the entire shirt will be pre-treated, inside, outside, shoulders, sleeves, collar, wherever. So I recommend, you know, it may be better to start with a Wagner, see how you like it, maybe get a pre-treatment machine. But again, in no time, I'm sure pre-treated shirts will be out. There's actually a place that I know that you can get them right now. The website is dtgready.com. That's D as in dog, T as in Tom, G as in God, at ready.com. Go ahead and check them out. You can get pre-treated shirts there. And Inksoft Max, what is the white label? What does it mean? I don't know, George. Email me, and I'll be able to get you that answer. I don't understand what you're asking. Delivery lead time for mPower. We usually ship within 48 hours of purchase. So depending on where you are in the country, you can have it in as little as 3 days, as long as 8 days from purchase. You know, do we need a pre-treated coating for better result and durability? It depends on the substrate. Again, if you're doing dark shirts and you're using white ink, that pre-treating really makes a difference. Are there videos of printing in metal, wood, and glass? Yeah, there's some stuff on our website. Go ahead and check that out. Robert asked, polyester rash guard material okay to print on? Yeah, absolutely. In fact, if it's lighter color garments, just go for it. It looks fantastic. When you do darks, we've been able to do it with the white ink. And the consensus around the office is that it's about 85, 90% there. So we haven't really been pushing it because we don't feel like it's mastered yet. We don't feel like the white ink is really holding up to it as well. The white ink is really good for distressed images on those darker garments. But if you need something really vibrant, it can lag just a little. But it is something that is going to be worked on, and this is industry-wide with direct garment printing. So it's not just us. We're actually in the forefront of developing the technology to print white ink on 100% synthetic fabrics. Pre-treated T-shirts you guys just offered through one. Yeah, it's dtgready.com. Is MP5 or 10 regular 110? Yeah. Can it be run from home? Special connections for power? No, don't worry about it, John. Anything with an outlet, and you'll be good. Just don't plug in your heat press in that same outlet. You might short it. Stephen, do me a favor. Can you email me directly? It's adamt@anajet.com. All right, guys. That's it. Thanks a lot for logging in. It's been a pleasure. I really appreciate everybody and all the great questions. If you have any immediate questions that I can help you with, feel free to email me. It's adamt@anajet.com, or you can call me at that number right on the screen. If you already have a contact at Anajet, please reach out to them directly. They'll be able to get you all that stuff. Keep in mind, we're running that promotion through the end of next week, and we also have the promotion for MBM Long Beach for all those who attend. So I hope to see you there. I'll personally be there. When you come by, like I said, tell me how terrible I did at this thing. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll get a good laugh out of it, and I'll show you the mPower 10 and the 5. But thanks again, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day.